Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Nalin Vij and I'm the President for Global Sales and Delivery for HTC Global Services. Today I'm thrilled to sit down with a leader I admire very much, Radhika Chennakeshavula, CEO of Silicon Labs. Welcome Radhika.
Thank you, Nalin.
So if you work in a semiconductors or in any business where R&D runs 24/7, product cycles are unforgiving and security is non-negotiable, you relate to this conversation today. Silicon Labs made a bold move, run the core with discipline so innovation can move at a speed. That meant total IT outsourcing and a foundations first Azure modernization with phased delivery, reliability and pragmatic governance. We've been privileged to support Silicon Labs on this journey. What stands out here is Radhika's unwavering focus on outcomes, clear scorecards, resilient rhythms and a people-first culture. In this fireside chat, we'll cover the all-in decision, the key architecture and model choices, the trade-offs, whether they were worth it or not, the leadership habits that make a transformation stick. Radhika, welcome once again.
Thank you so much, Nalin. Honored to be here.
Great. With this, I'll move on to my first question, Radhika. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Silicon Labs, its business, its products, and your role as a CIO and your journey of getting here. And the second part of the question on how do you see the partnership with HTC evolve over the time?
Sure, Nalin. That's a great start. I'd love to talk about Sci Labs. We are one of the top technology leading companies headquartered in Austin. And we provide secure, intelligent, wireless solutions, pretty much covering all segments of IoT. IoT is our single focus. And our products, the unique selling point about our products is low power and a long range. When you don't want to change your batteries every now and then, that's when you look for chips from Silicon Labs. And the segments that we operate are between health, home, life, commercial, and industrial. Right? Things like smart watches when it comes to life, and smart homes, and smart factories, and smart metering, so a lot of smartness for sure. Right? And these are our different segments that we operate. And when it comes to IT, I joined here as a CIO as part of the global transition that company decided to do, as you just right now called out, to do a global transition of moving IT into multiple sites that we have. Company is truly global with Austin headquartered and Singapore and Budapest and other geographies. And now IT is truly global. So as part of this transition, the idea is to continue to IT continue to enable business in terms of secure and innovative products. And in this journey, to come to your second part of your question about HTC partnership, HTC played a very pivotal role in this. Right? Think about it. Our conversation or our relationship started exactly at the same time when we were doing this global transition.
Correct.
And this transition, this transition became successful truly with the partnership. Right? When we wanted to build future-ready architecture, having the strong foundation is the key. And when the partners like HTC, who was very open and provided a solid foundation, that's when we could run faster. Right. So thank you for being a fantastic partner there, Nalin.
I mean, that's a fantastic testimonial for us and I will love it. And I think it's a great partnership. With Radhika, I'll come to the second question of this podcast. Let's take a step back. Let's start from the beginning. When you took over as a CIO for Silicon Labs, obviously you inherited a large landscape with immense potential and at the same time with a lot of legacy challenges.
Yes.
Right? Many leaders at this time probably would have opted for incremental changes.
Sure.
Whereas you made a bold decision of a all-out reset.
Sure.
Right? But so what things you saw in your early days which made you take this decision and starting with the company's infrastructure and systems that they were so important for Silicon Labs' future growth?
Sure, Nalin. Yeah, there's no one right way to do it, right? As a leader, when you take a new organization, depending on depending on your early days of calibration, then you make the decisions, right? So this question definitely takes me back into my early days where I did my 30, 60, 90-day observations, and I started to make my 100-day presentation to board and executives across all sections of people, process, technology, right? One thing that stood out very clearly, and the strong positive point about Silicon Labs, is a very fantastic and great engineering talent here, right? A cult-like talent, right? People who are very passionate about technology. So the good things that company has is a fantastic engineering talent, engineers, and great products, global footprint, and empowering leadership. Now, when you have such a great combination, now you need the infrastructure and environment which is scalable. The previous IT served the need until then. Right? Now when you're becoming more global, when you have more ambitious goals as a company, you need the IT and infrastructure equally scalable and secure, both up and down, right? And hence, we took a call of strengthening the foundation very solid, right? It's like an analogy of when you're building, when you're constructing a big building, your foundation is important. So while we are doing the foundational strengthening, we also paid a very critical attention to the strengthening of the data architectures and so on and so forth, so that when we are preparing for AI journey, all of these are not pulling us back, right? And in that journey, again, coming back to HTC, when we are building our road forward for AI, our core cannot be pulling us back, right? So that's where when your team started to take more ownership and take that foundational elements out of our daily concern, then we are able to run much faster. It's like if you have to run faster, you need to shred, right?
Yes.
So you need to shred overweight. That's the part that I think your team is helping us handle that overweight foundation very well.
Great. So, Radhika, again, thanks. We are being, for us to be part of this journey with you. That brings me to my third question, and this is something more personal to you.
Sure.
But you and I have known each other for some while, and
Yep.
in many of the conversations, you brought this point out in some shape and form. And then recently, you also posted on the LinkedIn about your farming background, where you came from, where as a child you spent time in the mornings helping your family pluck vegetables, get them set in the baskets, then set them off to the market for selling. And all you did this, all of this you did before going to school in the morning.
Yep.
And from there to being a global CIO for a global leading organization such as Silicon Labs, this what I would call a tremendous success.
Thank you, Nalin.
Yes, and a company which is again building, as you said earlier, that the 3 lines of businesses you've been involved, building wireless connectivity for smart homes, for medical devices, for IoT, industrial IoT.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great achievement,
Thank
right?
you.
So so what are those lessons from those early days?
Sure.
Which you learned and which helps you drive this core transformation which you have undertaken in Silicon Labs?
Sure. First of all, you are a great listener. You still remember the conversation that we had during our first breakfast meeting.
Yes.
So fantastic
Yes.
for that. Nalin, when I reflect back on my childhood upbringing and all of that, right, it taught me humble beginnings, right? Back then, when I was doing whether plucking the vegetables or helping in the rice fields, I did not know how that will shape me as a leader in the future, right? Now, when I look back, it actually had a lot of impact on me, right? Think about it. Plucking vegetables is not as fancy as maybe doing a podcast here. There's no glamour in it, right? You do the same thing every day consistently. You can't say that, oh, today I don't want to do it because vegetables will get spoiled, right? So you have to do it every day consistently, right? So with that, one thing that I learned, my takeaway from that whole early humble beginnings is showing up and consistency are so important, right? Now, when I relate that to IT in general, right, anywhere in IT, digital transformation is the fancier side of the IT, and that's not all about IT. Right? Majority of IT energy and spend actually goes into running the business, right? On the day of Diwali, when your network goes down, you can't say that, oh, I'll fix it tomorrow or I'll redesign the network after 6 months is not an option that you have. So you have to show up every day consistently and deliver it for the company, right? So that was my learning. That's my leadership philosophy that came from that early humble beginnings.
Fantastic, and I think I will take your cue on this on consistency, and I think
Sure.
it not only works in plugging the vegetables or
Sure.
working here as a CIO. I think in everyday life, what we do,
Absolutely.
repeated consistency, anything you do, if you're consistent, I think you do better, you do smarter, you do it. So I totally agree. I think that's a great point. So thank you once again. I'll come to another point which you talked about, the AI journey for Silicon Labs, right? It is a buzzword nowadays,
Yep.
right? It is, I think people talk more about AI than they drink coffee or tea, right? So it is every CEO, CIO wants it to get it done. They want to be associated with it.
Yeah.
But in your case, I think you've taken a longer view.
Sure.
You are building a house before decorating it.
Yep.
Right?
Great analogy.
So, yes, you're building a house before decorating it, and I think you've been at the same time you've been pretty vocal that how important or central is AI and ML and so on for your for Silicon's future.
Yeah.
So how are you embedding AI into, or these AI ML into your IT operations so that they really become a value driver for you and not remain buzzwords?
Sure.
That's one part of the question, and we've been honored and part of being of the team which on the data side, and now since you have a clean data engine, how does it elevate your AI strategy?
Sure.
And lastly, where do you think the AI is going to play a bigger role, or probably in all three? Is it going to be in your devices business, or is it going to be in your predicting your supply chains, or building new infrastructure for experiences?
Sure. Thank you for bringing AI into the conversation. Without that, these days, no discussions end, right?
Absolutely.
That's the start and end of the conversations in most of the time. One thing I realized in recent few years, Nalin, is AI is an evolution. It's not a project, right? If it is a project, then you have timelines and you know where you're heading, and then you get it done, right? When it is an evolution, it takes time. Like maybe when Industrial Revolution happened, or when the cars came in, when cars went out, though that took a long enough time. One big difference when it comes to AI is the pace, right? When those revolutions happened, it took a couple of decades. Right? Versus now, the pace is months to days at times, right? Every week there are a bunch of tools that are getting released into the market. So this evolution is fast-paced. However, it's an evolution. It's not one time finish the task, right? So that's where when I took a long path of strengthen the foundation. First of all, you build your room and then you decorate it. Right? That path. That's a great analogy. I love it. Right? So we did build the foundation. And in fact, in middle of last year, when we started to feel relatively better with the foundation, we added GenAI or AI into our one of the pillars. In addition to we have some interesting pillars: responsible IT, business enablement. Initially, company was like, "What is responsible IT?" I'm like, "I need to be responsible as an IT so that I'm securing the company and I'm watching the cost and spend and so on and so forth." So in addition to these foundational elements, middle of the year, we added AI into it. And we started supporting our AI council with several pilots and POCs, and we also did a little bit of budget balancing, saying, okay, can I negotiate some contracts? Can I let go some legacy tools so that I can invest in AI? Because at this point in time, most of the functions, they keep asking for new tools. In my mind, it's a fun toys, right? You can ask for fun toys. However, at some point in time, it keeps adding 30% of additional budget to IT. Is it worth it, or is it driving a business value? One thing I want to tell you is, as a technology leader from the beginning, or as a person individually, I do not follow the fashion for the sake of fashion. I really look for the value, right? If I'm deploying the technology, what is the business value it is driving? I don't look for cool technologies, rather what is the business value, what is the revenue? It should impact the bottom line of whether a revenue or a manufacturing yield, or more design wins or cost savings, right? One of these standard business parameters it has to impact. Now, to answer your second part of your question, where is it going to be impacting in our products and segments? Truly everywhere, Nalin, right? My hardware team is embracing on chip design side, and my software team is heavily embracing, embedded software team is heavily embracing in the code generations and documentation, end-to-end CI/CD pipeline, and so on and so forth. And our DevOps tool, which is our Simplicity Studio, which is what we give it for free for all the developers to experiment with all of our chips, that is now AI Simplicity Studio. So we are also embedding AI into Simplicity Studio as well. So almost in everyday life, right? So it is going to be definitely, it has been transforming and it will be transforming. However, one part that I wanted to add before I end this AI conversation is ensuring that human is in the loop, right? Otherwise, it can just be out of control, right?
So I really hope that human remains in the loop because that will be one of my last questions coming to you at some point.
Right.
But I think I do agree that you're not following the fashion.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people are under pressure because there's a boardroom conversation. Every organization, every CEO, like I said, wants to do something with AI.
Exactly.
The IT, the business, everybody, and people are under pressure that I need to show something. And when you work with them, and then they realize, oh, I need a tool A, B, or C, and that's going to cost so much of money. Now, where is that money? So I think you nailed those points that you really need to build the house first before you decorate it.
Exactly. So, and other thing to add is, in most of the cases, the tool is as intelligent as your data readiness, right? If your data is not ready, it can fall apart.
Yes.
One thing that I must quote here is, in this journey, in last 1.5 years, did I solve all of my legacy problems and now my environment is ready for AI? No, I would be lying, right? I don't think there will be a situation for any CIO where they say that I am all on new technology. Will never be a situation. The fine balance between the legacy and the modern technologies is a CIO paradox. If you read this book by Helen, she wrote CIO Paradox, and one of the paradox that she really very well puts it is how a CIO can be an archivist versus a futurist. And this role is a fine balance, right? At times in the seesaw, you play this lower, and at times you play this lower.
You got to balance it right.
It will always be there, right? So,
and I think the way the speed with technology is moving, by the time you implement one and you come to 10, one is already almost legacy.
Exactly.
Right? So it's changing so fast.
So true. Even some of the AI tools, before they become legacy, before you realize they become legacy.
Yes, because but it's so rapid and so fast.
It
right?
is indeed.
So it's really fascinating the way you are thinking and the way you are trying to climb this technological mountain.
Sure.
And with that comes to another point of yours, which I think is close to your heart, is you recently climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
I did. Thank
right?
you.
Congratulations for that. 19,000 feet, the tallest mountain in Africa. I think not many have done it. So that is what I would call something which is a sheer determination, mental, how strong you need to be mentally to do it. It's not an easy climb, I think. And the last miles of those are the toughest, I believe. I know people have talked about it, how tough it is, right? So you have a philosophy of a sound body and a sound mind, right?
Yes.
And I think we at HTC also have a sound body, mind, and soul philosophy. But how does this help you, this philosophy of yours, to acquire and attract high-performing teams, diverse high-performing teams, and then they deliver on your promises, what you are trying to do on AI?
Sure. Definitely, thank you so much for Kilimanjaro. The wishes about the Kilimanjaro climb. When you're talking about it, I get goosebumps thinking about that whole experience. It was fascinating, right? Especially, as you rightly said, the last day of 23 hours of non-stop climb at the temperatures that can be very daunting. It was one of such experience, and it was life-changing, right? It is in a way that if you can do this, you can pretty much do anything. Right? That's the kind of push that comes into your.
It liberates you. It gives you the confidence to do.
Absolutely. Yes. And when it comes to the sound body and sound mind, that has been my philosophy from my childhood. And I'll tell you one little secret. I don't think I've ever spoken about this in any of the public platforms. Other than COVID, I never fell sick in my life. I don't fall sick.
Great.
I don't even get.
Knock on the woods, you don't?
I don't. Even the common cold, fevers, temperatures, I don't attract anything. Don't know how and why. However, for last 20 plus years, I've been a yoga trainer and physically active and always exercising and being happy, right? When you're happy and when you're physically strong, your mind is in alignment with you, and then when you're happy, people want to be around, right? You're not competing with anybody, you're happy by yourself, right?
Yes.
One of the advice that I give to some of my mentees is when they ask me, when is a good time to shift your jobs, is when your manager is not a happy person,
Yes.
right? Because you need to be comfortable under your skin.
Sure,
So I
sure.
think that trait definitely helped me attract some good talent, and I have very strong leadership talent with me right now. If I'm able to switch off my phone and sit for this podcast, I know they take care of it, right? So that's the level of confidence
Yes.
that I have.
Yes.
So and in a way to extend a little more, now I think for this conversation, sound body, sound mind, sound digital core. And your team has been helping us in building that last part of the sound digital core. Thank you for that.
Yes, and I again echo sound mind. Health, mind is such a powerful thing.
It is.
It can make you do things, the most toughest of the things, and it can make you not do the simplest of the things.
Absolutely.
It is just the mind game. So I believe a strong mind is a key to success.
It
so
is.
yeah, I guess. That brings me to another, this is an interesting section actually what we have here. I have some rapid fire questions for you. The next 7 questions are going to be rapid fire, and I'm going to read those to you.
Okay.
And I think let's see what your answers would be.
Sure.
So first one, when facing a tough leadership decision, what's your final tiebreaker? The hard data or your leadership intuition?
Leadership intuition. However, I am being coached for asking for more data. If you read this book, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, my coach made me read that book twice because I was relying too much on my system one thinking, which is intuition.
Sure.
And he ensured that I become stronger in asking for data.
For data.
Try that book if you have not read it. Thinking Fast and Slow is a fascinating book.
I surely will. So intuition is number one, but some data
How you
is
ask for the
needed.
data.
How for
Yeah,
data.
yeah.
Cool. Okay, so the second one is, I think we all dabble with on a daily basis. A meeting that could have been an email, or an email that should have been a meeting. Which is worse?
The first one. My preference is always meeting, right? Even if it could have written an email, you're leaving for the other person to interpret, right? And as a person, my personality is a double extrovert, right? And I prefer to meet, touch, and hug people,
Sure.
right? So I always prefer meetings over the emails.
And I think meeting in person always resolves issues quicker, faster,
does.
makes it more clearer.
Indeed.
And I think I believe too, meetings are always better. So that brings the third question. So if IT departments had slogans, yours would be, we have tried turning it off and on again. It worked in dev. That's a feature, not a bug.
Okay.
Coffee in, code out.
Okay. I would go with it worked in dev and works in production too.
Works in production too.
Yeah, you hear so many times, right? Oh, it worked in dev. It worked yesterday.
Right.
It works today too.
So, if Silicon Labs
Sure.
Series 3 platform went on a date, what would it wear? A Matter-enabled smartwatch, a glucose monitor necklace, an electronic shelf label bow tie,
Okay.
all of the above.
The Series 3 product will wear all of the above. If I am the person dating with that, I would wear the smartwatch one because I love smartwatches.
It's just nice. Which required more mental stamina? The final oxygen-deprived push to the summit of Kilimanjaro, or the final budget-deprived push for a Q4 project?
First one, Kilimanjaro, the final push was really a hard push. It was emotionally, physically daunting, right? You have to do it all by yourself. Versus when it comes to the IT budgets, I always have my team. It is a teamwork, so we can make it work.
Figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah,
right.
figure it
Versus
out.
first one, there's no figuring out.
There's no
You
figuring
have
it
to
out.
just do it.
It's just black and white. Either do it or not do it.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
So the first one
And
is
I guess
hard.
if you can do the first one, the second one is easy.
It looks so
It's
easy.
It looks so easy.
Yeah.
The vendor pitch line that instantly loses you. It's like Uber, but for IT. Our AI will solve everything. You won't need any training. It is military grade encryption.
The AI solves everything, right? It's not just for vendors, in general also, right? Of late when I hear AI solves everything, no, it doesn't, right? And AI solves some problems and faster, but human in the loop. Like AI does several things not right, in terms of hallucinating and in terms of doing several things not appropriate, right? There has been this one book. You are a thing and I love you. This is about AI.
You're a thing and I love you.
You're a thing and I love you, right? In that book, the author gives several examples, like how AI, when several images were given for AI, how AI was given one image where there are a bunch of kids playing in the green fields, and AI would tag some kids as sheep. You know why? Because when the particular model was getting trained, several of the sheep images were given with the green fields. And now when kids are playing in green fields, it would think that green fields associate with sheep, right? This is an easy one, fun one to talk, but there are several medical and healthcare related ones where human needed. So AI doesn't solve everything.
And I think, like I said, it's a boardroom buzzword, and everybody wants to date with AI, and everybody wants to play with it.
Yeah.
I think so do the vendors.
Yeah.
They also want to go and tell, and
Exactly.
we also want to go and tell and say that we are good in AI. It's going to solve everything. But I think I agree, AI doesn't solve.
Yeah.
It's still evolving.
It is evolving.
It is still evolving, and we all are learning with it.
Yeah.
Nobody is an expert in AI as yet. So,
True.
so final question, Radhika.
Sure.
Your prediction in 5 years.
Sure.
Will there be more CIOs or fewer CIOs because of AI?
I feel that CIOs will continue to make sense, contextual sense, because you have a technology. And what I feel is CIO's role will evolve, right? CIO, in a way, I think instead of calling it a chief information officer, because the majority of our role today is managing the information and the data,
That's
right?
correct.
It becomes maybe a chief intelligent orchestrator, right? Where we ourselves need to teach how to manage human and machines together, and expect the rest of the organization to adopt sitting beside a machine or an agent and work in parallel, right? So that evolution and the adoption is key for CIOs, and it will happen because we evolved. We adopted to all of the evolutions in the past. So CIOs also will adopt to that change.
And I think you will always need the Hector.
Yeah.
So if you know the movie or the story of Troy, right? Helen of Troy, right? The younger brother elopes with the Helen of Troy, and there is an attack on the city of Troy. Hector is the older prince, and Hector was a great warrior. So they used to call Hector the tamer of the sheep, right? The tamer of the horses. So you need somebody to bring it together. So CIOs will, I think my guess is they'll always be there to bring it all together.
Exactly.
Yes.
And in the together, you will have machines and agents too. So that's the difference from what you do
so
today
your
versus
workforce
tomorrow.
will be
yeah.
100 humans and 25 bots.
Yeah, possible.
Right?
And eventually it might shift the other way.
Yeah, eventually
It's a matter of that.
Yes, yes. So, Radhika, thank you. This was a wonderful conversation. I think you have shown that technology is not only an enabler or an efficiency enhancer, it unlocks the human potential. The harmony between sound mind, body, and a digital core, I think that's the symphony, that's the true success. As Alan Kay said that the best way to predict future is to invent it.
Yeah.
And I think you and your team at Silicon Labs are working together to not only predicting the future but inventing it. And we at HTC are very glad to be part of that journey.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Radhika, for being here today. It was an excellent conversation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Nalin. I enjoyed the conversation equally. Thank you so much. And wish you good luck.
Thank you.